The marketing app Tribe turning digital marketing on its head through what it's dubbed authentic advocacy. What is this? Well, we're going to find out in just a moment. This app itself receiving $2.4 million in investment in just the last 9 months, recently announcing another $5 million capital raising. Let's get more on the company's plans for development and growth with CEO Anthony Svirskis. Joins the program. Warm welcome to you. Really, this is kind of entering a realm that's to some gobbledygook, but just it's plainly put, what are we really talking about here? You're talking about influencers and brands and bringing the two together so that there's some kind of a meaningful exchange and endorsement that goes on. Just walk me through each step of the process.
Yeah, sure. Well, influencer marketing has been around for a number of years, but what Tribe has done is applied a tech model to this. So we are a marketplace connecting brands and influencers via a mobile app. We consider an influencer to be anyone who's got over 5,000 followers on Instagram, Twitter or Facebook.
You've said in this release that's marking the quest to bring in some more cash. Look, we recognise we were offering something not previously available. What currently is the standard default procedure that influencers work to?
Yeah, so traditionally in the industry, business models have been around an agency approach, which is very sort of high touch, dealing with talent managers and PR agencies, and these have a very relevant space in the industry. But what Tribe has done has been the first in the region, and I talk about the region being Australia and probably into APAC as well, is applying this pure tech model. So what we have the ability to do is to connect brands and influencers with absolute scale.
Let's just look at one example. Just pick anything that's in your consciousness and just describe how this has been a win-win.
Yeah, sure. So let's say a company like Maya, they're wanting to engage with influencers on a volume basis. They would go into the Tribe campaign builder, they would build a brief, it would send to the app, and then the thousands of influencers who are already on the Tribe app then have the opportunity to build some content, attach a fee to it and submit it for approval. Now Maya have the final say on which content gets approved and which content doesn't, and they only pay for the content they approve. So for brands, it's completely free to post a brief, it's completely free to have that brief go live and to see the content. They only pay when the content is purchased. And likewise for influencers, it's completely free to download the app and they can browse and submit content for whichever brands that they want to.
And have they got a free rein to write whatever comments they're wanting to write? Are there guidelines? What process do they work
through? Yeah, certainly. So the brand sets their own brief, and we ask them to not, I guess, dictate their brief. They should leave it very much open-ended in regards to the voice of the influencer. Influencers have their own unique voices that appeal to their audiences. But when the influencer submits content, they do that in line with the brief. And ultimately it's the brand which chooses whether the content is correct, in line with the brief and at the right price.
What's the typical alignment here? You're talking about some people who have, it's quality not quantity in many respects in terms of a following, but what do they typically look towards? Are we talking a very bespoke, niche kind of a realm that's in their sights, or have they shunned the mainstream? How's it playing out?
Well, what we're seeing in the industry is a movement towards what we call citizen influencers. So these are people, everyday consumers, who have between 5 and 100,000 followers, which sounds like a lot, but in the world of social media, it's not necessarily a huge amount. What we're seeing in our data that's starting to come out through our platform is the engagement of an influencer who has 5 or 10,000 followers is far stronger than someone who has 5 million followers. So there's a great capacity now through apps like Tribe where a brand can go in and buy 20 or 50 influencers who have smaller followings for the same amount that they would pay one big influencer.
You've used an offshore development team for the next growth phase to take it beyond Australia. What specifically is the brief there? Where are you hoping to splash, and what metrics are you targeting now?
Yeah, so we're looking heavily into the Asian region, and we're doing some country analysis on places like Indonesia and Malaysia and Thailand. We're also looking at interest in Latin America, and we've had some inquiries there around partnerships. But certainly from an expansion point of view, this raise is about funding the expansion. We're very stable and have got a very strong position in Australia already. We've been in market for 6 months, and the growth is going through the roof. and now's the opportunity to take that into new regions, and we're looking for the best bang for buck, so where we can grow our footprint to the largest possible level in markets where social influencer marketing is less developed compared to Australia.
And just in terms of this current funding round, you've got a split between strategic investors, family offices, small to mid-market funds. What would you be hoping that the landscape looks like for your key shareholders, say in the next 5 years? What would the ideal balance be there?
I certainly think in this round we'll be looking to try and get a bit of Asian capital in there, and that's a very strategic play around opening doors into Asian markets. At the moment we've got a lot of strategic investors in media and marketing industry in Australia, and I think moving forwards, expansion beyond the region that we now target would be around getting investors who can open doors in those regions. For us, US is probably not on the radar at the moment, and the market in the US is different to what it is in the rest of the world, and we see the greatest opportunities in other parts of the world. And
do you go to a VC already in that market rather than a homegrown one? What's the preference there? What's your experience to date been?
Yeah, look, we're talking to VCs locally in Australia, and certainly VCs who are very much focused on marketplace, which is a unique model in itself. So VCs with marketplace experience is something that I think can be very helpful for us. But we're open to all opportunities, and certainly around the Asian investment capital, there's a lot of inquiries coming in to help us fund that growth into that region.
Tremendous opportunities lie ahead. We wish you all the very best, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Anthony Svirskis there, the CEO of Tribe, the founder and CEO there. Its growth ambitions, quite ambitious. That's